Everybody, welcome to Micro Resort Academy. I'm Mark McKnight. I am the owner. And guys, I just kind of wanted to go over a few things with you that you can expect from our channel and from us, and also from our program that we are developing and will be out soon. But we just basically really just want to touch base with, I feel, a group of people that love to or would love to build a micro resort, but not only do they not know how, but some of them are scared. I've heard a lot of people, what if we get into this and the expense is a lot more than what we had planned? And that's kind of where we come in. I have seen, being in the construction industry for over 20 years. I was a union contractor out of St. Louis, and doing a lot of local stuff around our area. The biggest thing that I see with blown budgets has nothing to do with the homeowner, or has nothing to do with the micro resort that they're building. It has to do with their contractor, okay, and how the homeowner is talking with the contractor. The biggest thing is materials that leave the job site that could be taken back. There's so much, I hate to call it theft from the contractor, but when he goes and he does, the bid, he puts in the contract, exactly how much it's going to cost for this, how much it's going to cost for that. And then, a lot of times they pad that, 10-20%. So you're paying them 10 to 20% more for the project, and that's just material wise. And sometimes it's even higher than that. I've seen them pad at 30%. So their bid is 30% higher than what it should have been, but they do that to cover their end. The biggest and hardest thing to take away from that is to think that people would mislead you in any way. But with that 30% that they charged you, they're getting their money from you. But everything that they don't use on your job site, don't you? It's crazy how, when you build a micro resort or you build a home, when the project is over, you don't have a stack of materials laying over here that, oh, this wasn't used, or this or that wasn't used. No, they even charge you for the cleanup. Okay, they charge you to haul off all the extra stuff that could have been taken back, or could have been used on, let's say you want to build another cabin, or let's say you want to build another, anything on your property, a shed, you want to build something. Okay, that material belongs to you. And the normal everyday person that pays a contractor to come out, build their stuff, they're happy in the end because they got the end result they were promised. But what they don't understand is they were robbed. If you buy a $200,000 house from somebody, that's probably $100,000 house, but you had to spend an extra $100,000 to get them out there to build it. It's not theft on that, but what is theft is the $20,000 of extra materials that they didn't use, and instead of taking that back, all that winds up at their house. I've seen it numerous times. It's just crazy to me how that can happen. And that's what we're trying to avoid. Like I said, I've been in the industry now for over 20 years, and I've seen a lot of ins and outs and everything. And it just hurt after a while. We just decided, what, we'll just build our own micro resorts, and we'll rent our own stuff. And in the process of doing that, let's help some other people on along the way to keep them from having to overpay. Now, maybe you're not in the position to actually build it yourself, and that's fine. But there are tools out there that can provide you a little bit of sleep at night. To when you go to bed and you just took out $1 million loan to build a micro resort, and you're like, I have no clue how we're going to pay for this. What if the people don't come and rent from us? What if we're just in a bad location? There's so many things that you need to think about that a contractor isn't going to help you with, obviously, because he don't care. He just wants to just build your stuff for you, and then at the end of the day, he walks away with his money, and you have your end result. But the micro resort still has to bring people in, so you don't there's no help with that. All right. Our one of our biggest things with the construction industry is you meet somebody or a highly recommended person, and is he recommended from another contractor? I mean, or when you get a bid, your contractors are telling you, hey, this guy, we recommend him, we recommend, and a lot of times when you call a contractor, a lot of times you'll call three or four people and only one, two people will come out. And that's the problem is, you're stuck in a position where it's like, okay, well, we called all these contractors, but we can't get anybody out to our house. Well, that's the problem is contractors, they do have a lot of work, but they don't they're just not the type of person to get back to you all the time. I remember when we were doing things, sometimes it was 3 or 4 days before I could get back to people, a week, 2 weeks. Sometimes it even gets lost. If you send an email or you call, those get lost. And it's like, you need to call back a few times, so just because they don't get back to you doesn't mean you can trust them or you can't trust them. But just because they got with you in 2 or 3 hours of you calling doesn't mean you can trust them. All right. So all that being said, if you have any questions or anything like that, please get with me. You can leave a message down in the bottom, and I would love to talk to you. This is, like I said, this is something that me and my wife are very passionate in. We're, like I said, we are building our own micro resorts, and one of the programs that we are putting together, you get to come out and actually be with us and stay at our micro resort. And that way you get to meet us face to face. And anytime I do business with somebody, especially business at scale, that is, it's not something that you just here's some money and be done with it. It's not something cheap you buy from Walmart. We're actually going to step by step help you get through the planning process, help you find the contractors, or what to look out for with contractors, so you can find somebody reputable and then it's not going to kill your bottom line. We want this for you profitable as fast as possible, because I couldn't imagine it taking us 10, 20, 30 years before we're profitable. But I know a lot of people out there that they build their micro resorts and have 10 sites on there, and they're still working a full-time job because they can't afford to quit, because they're not making enough money to barely even pay the bills. Their micro resorts are full, but the contractors have literally ran the price up so much on all of the products and all the the stuff that they've done, underbidding things and bringing it back and telling them, hey, this is going to cost more than what we thought and stuff like that, or we need more of this, and then at the end of the job they really didn't need more of that. And whether they bought sewer pipe, or whether they bought water lines, or extra faucets, that you only need so many things to build a place. But even lumber, I've seen lumber walk off from a job site. It's very easy done, and these are things that the normal everyday builder, homeowner, or micro resort owner don't realize that this stuff's walking off. So we want to be there for you. And if you guys have any questions, like I said, just get with me down in the comments. I would love to talk with you. If you guys want, we're on Instagram and Facebook. Those links will be down in the description. So thanks, guys. We appreciate you, and God bless.